So the Iranian people are not Persian. They see themselves as Iranian, right? Iranian is, I think the Persian percentage of Iranians is, I think, 60% or something like that. So the identity is not Persian. There's three different things. It's the culture, the language, and the identity. Okay. So the official language of Iran for the entire country is the Persian language, is the language that connects us all with each other, whether we're Persian or not, because even the non-Persian population of Iran speaks Persian. So that by having that as the official language, it bonds us with each other. So even if you are Azeri, Kurdish, Gileki, Baluchi, Arab, whatever you are, because we speak Persian, we love the Persian language because it's the language of the Iranian people, whether they're Persian or not. And then we have the Persian culture, and it's not the only culture. We have Kurdish culture, we have Gileki culture, we have Baluchi culture, and we love the Persian culture among all the other cultures that we have. And we celebrate it as one of the greatest cultures and the most ancient cultures in Iran, right? As part of many other cultures that we have, right? But we don't have a Persian. We don't want to celebrate the Persian identity, because the only identity that we want to focus on is our national identity. I mean, we can't focus like as a secondary or tertiary identity, like just like the people sometimes have the Kurdish identity or the Azeri identity, but it's not as important as our Iranian identity. We rather focus on our national identity instead of our ethnic identity. Our national identity comes above our ethnic identity. And we, like, when you say going back to Persia as our name, that was not our name. Our name was always Iran. In fact, it was during the Pahlavi dynasty that Reza Shah got the rest of the world to start referring to us as Iran. So the rest, like, we called ourselves, our country, Iran. The rest of the world called us Persia. And it wasn't during the Islamic Republic, it was during the Pahlavi dynasty where our king went and made sure that the rest of the world refers to Iran as well. And I don't even understand why some people think, like, you could let me know, Sherry, that Iran, what's wrong with Iran? Like, what's wrong with the word Iran? Iran is, do you want to, like, I do want to know, like, I'm actually curious why non-Iranians think that Persia, like, what's the issue with the word Iran?
Oh, I have absolutely no issue. I'm just trying to learn.
Yeah.
I have
Oh
no
yeah, I
issue.
know, but
I
I'm trying to
believe
learn
the
as well.
people
Yeah.
I believe your people should choose their own name. I was just curious because the best example I can use is, and I think you can relate to this, like in America, in the United States of America, we're a melting pot. And we wouldn't want to change our name to the second Britain or the second England. So I do understand that. We want to be a melting pot, and we've tried to do that. Of course, we have our faults. I was just curious because I view the age from what I've been studying, and it's limited from the Persian culture and, you know, Cyrus the Great, et cetera, et cetera. I guess I view the Persian people as such a great and wonderful thing, but I also understand exactly the point, and that's why I wanted to ask it, is what you're trying to what Iran is a mixture, a melting pot of so many different ethnicities and cultures. I have no problem with whether it's called
But
Iran or Persia, I was just asking because I was curious. Thank you.
yeah, and I just want to also emphasize that we were Iran before the Islamic Republic. Like, it's like some people, like, so for when other people ask you this, like, oh, you're going back to Persia. There's no going back to Persia from our perspective. Persia is the name that the Persian Empire, Persia is the name that foreigners used for Iran, right? We were Iran, right? And also, I think that there is, and Shana, I know you want to respond to this as well. Also, I think that because in the past 47 years, foreigners, non Iranians associated the word Iran with something Islamic, they think like, oh, so Iran is Islamic, Persia is un-Islamic. So that's why some people celebrate the word Persia over Iran. But the word Iran is not Islamic in any way. The word Iran means the land of Aryans, the land of Aryans. And again, I need to clarify to people who might not know, like the word Aryan is not a bad word. The Nazis changed the meaning of the word Aryan when they use it on themselves. Just like they changed the meaning of the swastika symbol, which they took from Eastern Asian religions like Buddhism and stuff, and they changed it into something else. The word Aryan for us Iranians represents like noble people. It refers not to an ethnicity, it refers not to DNA or like blood. It refers to a set of languages and culture, not to blood. So, and Iran refers to the land of, like, the Kurdish people are considered Aryan, the Persian people are considered Aryan. Honestly, anybody who adopts our values and our languages will become Aryan as well because it's based on culture, right? And my name, by the way, Armin, means the guardian of the Aryan land. So anybody who thinks that Iran is something Islamic, Iran is, in my opinion, the word Iran is the most un-Islamic thing you could say. It's the land of Aryans, has nothing to do with Islam. It's an ancient name. The name actually predates the existence of Islam, right? So,
Armin, I
and Shana,
didn't
you want,
mean that to
yeah,
sound as if I was
no,
in any way, shape, or form disrespecting Iran or
I
Persia.
didn't think you were this. Sherry, you don't need to say it. I didn't at
Thank
all
you.
think like. First of all,
Thank you.
feel free to be disrespecting. That will spice things up here. Okay, first of all, and I didn't even at all think that you were disrespecting. I just wanted to give you, when you asked me that question, because this is being recorded. I'm just trying to give a full, complete response so that when this goes out there, I have covered everything. So because
Thank
you're giving me an excuse to cover this topic completely. That's why I want to just make sure that I answer everybody. So does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Okay. And Sean, I wanted to add something to this.
But it's better than it was. I also wanted to say that a lot of Iranians in America, I can't speak to everywhere else, but I can speak to in America, called themselves Persian, and the reason for that is twofold. One is because they didn't wanna be associated with the Islamic regime, and then the secondary fold of that is because the name Aryan was so corrupted in the United States, and we have to remember, going back, we didn't have the access to technology to do widespread education the way we do now, so it was just easier for them to call themselves Persian. Um, so
Yes.
that's a factor that, is an aspect as well.
Yes, and you're right, actually. And now they're not doing that anymore. They used to be like try to shy away from the word Iran because, for example, in Canada or Europe and United States, if you said I'm Iranian, people are like, oh no, they're like Durka terrorists. So we're like, okay, I'm Persian, so that they can. They wanted to be as far as away for anything that was resembling the Ayatollahs as possible. But now, because the Iranian people inside Iran have made it so clear to the world that we're different from the Ayatollahs, the Iranian people in the diaspora are now more comfortable with the word Iran again. One other thing that made people, Iranians outside of Iran, shy away from the name Iran was because it rhymed with Iraq. And I mean, it does it in our language. It's Iran and Iraq, but people were like, outside of Iran, people were like, oh, Iran and Iraq, basically they sound the same, so they must be the same, right? Like they were like, okay, like we don't want to we don't want to use a name that sounds so much like Iraq.
Yeah, they didn't wanna
Yeah.
be associated with that. Well, I would also say that even if they were Muslims, my experience, which is limited, but my experience is also that even if they were nominally Muslim, they didn't necessarily wanna be associated with Arab Muslims, is what I've
Yes,
seen.
because Iraq is an Arabic country, so Iran and Iraq rhyming made Iranians uncomfortable because they want to be like, we're like as far as like we don't want to be
Yeah,
like we don't want to be like seen as the same as an
I
Arab
worked with a
country.
Persian, like, Muslim and a Persian or and an Arab Muslim. Both of them were nominal Muslims, but the girl was really interested in him, and he was really, like, ugh, towards her. It was really funny to watch as an outsider, this kind of interaction.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he very much was like, "We're different than Arabs. We're not the same." And she's like, "No, we're both Muslim." And he's like, "No, we're not the same."
Remember, guys, remember that Iranian people still, like, this is an issue, right? So many Iranian people still haven't forgotten that Arabs, and they always remind you that they were Arabs, invaded their country, their empire 1400 years ago. And Iranian people have still not gotten over that, right? So this is an issue that we have to still deal with somewhat. It's getting better now, especially because Princess of Pahlavi's insistence that we are going to be a friendly country to our Arab neighbors. That has had a huge moderating effect on Iranian people, but it's a hard sell for us to get along. Iranian people consider their fall of their empire to the Arab invasion 1400 years ago. Yeah, I mean, it's like hold a grudge match. Yeah, I mean, if you used to be an empire and now you're not anymore, so it's a 1400-year-old grudge. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Dijal, you're on the list, but let's go. The list that I have right now is Daniel, Sadato, I think, Olga, Tony, and Dijal. Okay, so Daniel.
I mean, good evening to everyone. Like, just something small to laugh on before my actual question. Apparently, in Beersheba, we had a port, like a seaport, and the RGC just obliterated it.
Say it again. Okay.
Beersheba is a city that doesn't have any sea around for like tens of kilometers, but somehow the IRGC just obliterated our port. So it was
Mm.
important for me to let you know that.
Okay. Okay. I mean, they don't have a port right now, so I mean, do you see a port?
The
Is
second one is also the Lego franchise that IRGC is spoiling us with. It's
Oh,
just hilarious.
yeah, that was
Didn't
fun.
you watch it?
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, we showed it in the show.
So,
And they, yeah.
oh, so my question is like, so if Persians is like name that the Iranians try to like different themselves from Iraqis or from I don't know like to sound to be
That was
more
that was before. Not they right now they're more
yeah,
comfortable
yeah,
with the
yeah.
name. Okay.
So is there any actual ethnicity that is considered to be Persians? Like, is that a thing? Like, what is going on with with that word? Because firstly, this word is made up by Greeks. Then we know that
Yep.
the language in Iran is Persian. So what's going on?
So honestly, I don't even believe in ethnicities. I think it's all just a mess. Everybody is just mixed. Like for example, this might offend some people, but I think if you go, for example, to Israel, if you look at the Jews and Arabs, and if you do DNA tests, everybody is mixed up. Everybody is mixed. Like when you walk in Tel Aviv, they say this is an Arab, this is a Jew. Like, can you really tell the difference that much? Like many times you can't tell the difference, right? Everybody is mixed with each other. Like there, and you're right. There is no Persian ethnicity. Like I'm considered Persian. I bet you that if you find an Iranian Kurd and you do a DNA test, we're all just mixed with each other. Like it's just everything is it should be like that. We should just make like this is why I really do believe in national identity is so much more than ethnic identities. I do believe in like ethnic cultures, like the Jewish culture, the Persian culture, the Kurdish culture, the languages. Those are worth celebrating, but when it comes to identifying yourself, unless you're being hunted down because of the so-called ethnic identity, then it makes sense for you to focus on that ethnic identity because that's how your enemy is trying to target you, right? So you need to create a defense mechanism, and you need those people that are being targeted to get gathered around and be like, okay, apparently our enemies considers us Jews, so we need to unite with each other to defend against the threat. This is why in Israel, when they were trying to come up with the definition of who's a Jew and who's not, they went with the definitions that Nazis, in the foundation of Israel, the definitions that the Israel picked on who would be considered a Jew and who not to deserve the protection of Israel, like give them full citizenship and everything. They went with the
Sorry,
definition of Nazis.
this is not accurate.
This is what I heard by experts inside
Um,
Israel That's what they were saying by scholars in Israel when I
Um,
traveled to Israel.
well, those who are considered Jews are on the like Jewish religion are people who
I'm not
their
talking about Jewish.
mother.
I'm not talking about Jewish religion. I'm not talking. Well, I'm talking about.
Oh, you
Yeah,
okay? You talk who can get a citizenship? Yeah, these are people who has like at least a grandmother or father Jews.
yeah, yeah. Basically, the justification was if you're Jew enough for the Nazis, then you're Jew enough to deserve the protection of Israel. National identity is black and white. Ethnic identity. So, for example, in Iran, when we talk about Persian, like who's a Persian? Like apparently, if you're Iranian and you don't belong to any of the minority ethnic groups, then you're Persian. So, for example, I'm Iranian. I'm not a Kurd. I'm not an Azeri. I'm not Arab. I'm not Baluchi. I'm not Gilaki. I'm not Lor. So, I guess I'm Persian. That's like there is no active Persian identity. It's you be considered Persian because you're not in any of the other groups. You know what I mean? That's how they come up with the that's they had to come up with the Persian identity. Yeah, so the 1970s amendment in Israel resulted in a definition that rough for Jews that roughly mirrors the reach of the Nazis Nuremberg laws. This was this was not an explicit, so it mirrored it, but it was not an explicit copy paste. So it's to some degree correct. Yes. So to some degree, it was somewhat of a mirror of their definition, but not. But my point is that the only time for me an ethnic identity makes sense, for example, the Jewish ethnic identity, focusing on that as your identity, to me that makes sense because that's what they're using to hunt you down. So, for example, another identity, like let's say mustache people, right? Is that an identity that we should focus on? Like, is that a valuable identity? People who have mustaches? To me, I mean, other than having fun with it, it's not a big. Shouldn't be like. It doesn't make sense for you to focus on creating organizations and institutions or communities based on having mustaches. Other than if it's for fun, right? It shouldn't become like a political thing, right? Unless they're hunting down and killing people with mustaches, then in that case it makes sense to make that into a serious identity. So for me, ethnic identities are the same thing. They have no utility. They have, other than entertainment and fun, they have no utility unless you're being hunted down for it, right? The collective identity that has the most utility is national identities, in my opinion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like yes. It just made me curious, like why the language called Persian while there is no like actual like okay, leave aside the thing ethnicity by the classical definition, but like there are no people that can explain what are Persians, so why
There
the
is no
language is
there's no
Persian?
Yeah, to me, there's no Persian people. At least to me, there are no Persian people. There's a Persian language, there's a Persian culture, and we're Iranian. To me, there's no Persian people. And you can have a language without having a people associated with it, right? You can have that. For example, Americans speak English. We don't refer to them as English people, right?